to me, Galileo. Good morning, Carl at expatsportugal.com is my email address. I am Carl Munson of the expatsportugal.com, and this is the Good Morning Portugal show. Hello, how are you? It's Feelgood Friday, and it's just you and me this morning, where we're talking about our formulas for feeling good. I know we do this from time to time, but we are going into winter, aren't we? And if you have a little sneaky look around at the media, which is probably the best thing to do, looking at the mainstream media, limit your exposure to that stuff. It looks like we do need to gird our loins with positivity as we go into the darker times of the year in terms of nature and possibly in society as well. So we need to look after each other and prepare ourselves, I think, with positivity. So I would like to know, if I may be so bold and personal, what your personal formulas are at the moment. And I think one's come through already. I think James got the idea. Is this part of your personal formula, James? Good morning to you. Beautiful, by Lucy Schwartz. Wake up, it's a beautiful day. Is that part of your daily routine? Daily routines, of course, might be part of what keep you sane. Although calling people sane here, I know I'm on dodgy ground, and it's all subjective and relative, isn't it? So let's see who's here this morning. I've got so much to share with you. There are times looking ahead at shows, and I'm thinking, well, that's going to be a short show. There's not much to say. We might interview somebody, and then we'll be out of here, and we'll have a slightly longer day than we might otherwise have. When sometimes we're here for an hour and a half, getting on for 2 hours sometimes. I'm not sure how it's going to be today. I thought it might be a bit of a sort of brief in and out on sexta-feira. Oh, Diego, yeah, let me do that for you. Sexta-feira, 22 de outubro. 2021. Hola, bom dia, alegria, pessoal, Malta, meus amigos. Okay, so and yes, I haven't forgotten. Do let me know if you have done your Portuguese in the last 24 hours. 15 minutes thereof, and I know a lot of the SWATs are doing much more than that. I am myself, actually. Just got it on in the background all the time. This is working, isn't it? I think what we decided to do this week is working. So let me just pop. She's disappeared deep into the comments as Mia. Here she is. Have you done your 15 minutes of Portuguese? Okay, so let me know if you have or you haven't. You can just simply write 15. Or if you really want to blow your own trumpet, get in there and say, yes, I did 27 hours yesterday of Portuguese. Okay, so let's see who's here, who's in this morning. Music to share with you, video to share with you, all sorts, as well as your formulas for feeling good. Because the thing about human happiness is I don't think we really teach it. I was just considering this when I was out with the dogs this morning. Literally, I don't mean that in a sort of metaphorical sense. Gone to the dogs, you know. I was out walking Peggy and Jimmy, and I was considering, philosophizing as I do when I'm out with the dogs, issuing the occasional bon dia to a passerby, which I love to do. But thinking to myself, we don't really train this stuff, do we? And maybe you can't. Maybe you can't train human happiness. But it seems like we don't even try. We talk around it and about it, don't we? And we give a little bit of help on some of the things in life, like algebra, for example, yeah? And teach things in school, and then maybe don't teach some of the things that could be useful, like how to manage money and that sort of thing. And it seems like the personal things are the things we don't the areas we don't go into. Why is that? Is it because it's too personal? Do we not want to tell people what to do? Do we not want to instruct young people in the ways of well-being and let them find out for themselves? That seems a bit cruel in a way, doesn't it? But we do teach them things like geography and sociology and lots of ologies and physics and chemistry, but not the real nitty-gritty stuff. You know, was it Sartre who said, we figured out everything except how to live? Why? Why is it like that, everybody? Please, let's answer that once and for all. The great questions of humanity here on the Good Morning Portugal show. So while you're preparing for that, while you're grabbing an extra coffee or stroking your goatee as you ponder these things, especially you ladies, I'm wondering, what is it all about? But let's get to the bottom of it this morning if we can. The questions that have haunted philosophers and then the great thinkers for millennia. Let's just nail it this morning once and for all, shall we? And everyone, all of humanity will know that it was us who solved that mystery. And so while you're doing that, while you're preparing yourself for that, stroking your goatees, getting another coffee, etc., let's see who's here this morning. Andrea Hogan, always in first. I think she's a bit competitive, you know. You've seen the Yoga Sutras poses that Andrea is capable of pulling off. And I think she's actually quite a competitive and a person who prides herself on being first here, and nothing wrong with that. Maybe that's part of the formula for a successful life. She might tell me otherwise now. Bom dia a todos, feliz sexta-feira. Yes, excellent. Sexta-feira today, everybody. It's if you see that for the first time, you wouldn't necessarily draw the conclusion that that means Friday in Portuguese, but now you know. Feliz sexta-feira as well. Sexta-feira from James too, who we already heard from, but we can't get enough of that man, can we? Thunder Duck, Bom dia alegria a todos as well. Up Thunder. And 30 minutes yesterday had to make up for the day before. James will be there to give you a nice pat on the back in just a moment. Although he's talking of girding of loins, he's preparing himself for inclement weather over there in South Africa, which prompted him to send me this morning. Thunderbolts and lightning, very, very frightening indeed. Yes, Galileo with his famous quote there, thunderbolt and lightning, very, very frightening to me, very frightening me. No two in there. Yes, Francis, please give Thunder the appropriate stroking for that excellent effort yesterday. 40 minutos ontem a 10 minutos até agora. What's that about then? So 40 minutes yesterday, right? And 10 minutes so far today, possibly. James, don't do that to me. Anyone catch the license exchange? Yes, I did. I was there, James, and my goodness, it's the little things in life, isn't it? The seemingly offensive, the little bit of plastic that enables you to take to the roads behind the wheel. This is that caused the most trouble, it would seem. I mean, there were people who were saying it's easier to become a resident in Portugal than it is to get a driving license. And on some level, you can understand that with some people's experience of driving here. But anyone catch the license exchange webinar last night? Yikes! Didn't know I needed a US driving license documents before I got here. Another thing that we need to concern ourselves with. Oh, so I don't know where that leaves you, James, but it was a bit edgy, wasn't it, last night, the atmosphere on the webinar. And the dear ladies from ACP, Soraya, and let me just have a look at I couldn't remember her name all last night. Why was that? Isadora and Soraya from ACP, who incidentally gave us a beautiful tour of their headquarters last night. They were working late because they were doing the webinar for us, presentation, which will be up on the forum, showing you what you need to do depending on which country you come from to exchange your license for a Portuguese one, which is what you have to do. If you're going to stay here, if you're going to be a resident, you have to exchange and get a Portuguese license. I have one. Very lucky to have done it before the whole Brexit business. Relatively easy. Didn't feel like it at the time, but hearing about everyone's, the whole range of difficulties that people are facing now. Plain sailing for me. Plain sailing to get driving. Here in Portugal for me, but oh my goodness, that was difficult. But the ladies at ACP, they showed us the HQ. I said, "Is that Deco? Not about 1920? No, older." It was beautiful, beautiful building, marble pillars, beautiful sweeping staircase. Jerry and I thought how wonderful we would look sweeping down the staircase in our ball gowns. Absolutely beautiful building, and they did a great job because they were taking the heat for IMT. IMT are the driving authority. Motoring Transport Authority here in Portugal. And the ladies at ACP, Isadora and Soraya, were having to take the heat of all the difficulties. People are like, what does it have to do? Oh, what have to do? That bit of paper and that bit of paper, and does it have to be apostilled, etc.? Very, very difficult. And we'll endeavor to clarify further on the forum, and I will make that recording available soon, okay? Yes, James, it was a busy night last night. Oi, fiz meus 15 minutos aprendo português. Okay, so well done, Andrea. First in and among the first to tell us that you've done your 15 minutes. Well done. Hashtag 15 minutos. A very different energy than here. Lots of concerned, confused, worried, and stressed out folks. Yeah, there is a slightly different vibe, isn't there, on the webinars? I'm not keen on Zoom, I'll be honest with you. Zoom is not my preferred environment for working. Do love StreamYard that we use here because everyone gets to contribute differently. I feel like I'm more like the sort of host and director of something on Zoom, of a teleconference, rather than this more familial and casual atmosphere that we've managed, and friendly atmosphere we've managed to create here. Matty's here as well. Matty, I'm so sorry to hear of all this work you've had to do this week. Honestly, it's really getting in the way of your social life, isn't it? Bom dia, alegria para todos em Amsterdão, seca e ensolarada. So sunny and dry over there in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands. Espero que todos tenham sexta-feira super agradável. So agradável, please let me know what that adjective is. E fim de semana muito descontraído. So let's do a bit of vocab, because I don't know those. Agradável e descontraído. What do they mean, please? Digo say bom dia. Again, 15 minutes, 15 minutos, times 2. I do some in the morning and repeat it in the evening. Hopefully some sticks in my head. That's the thing, isn't it? But with that sort of immersion and exposure, Digo, I'm sure some of it, you'll be surprised at what pops out occasionally when you're in the shops in Belfast there, and you just find yourself casually saying, muito obrigado to the cashier in Belfast. I'll be interested to see what happens when you do that. And you sent me some beautiful pictures, Digo. What I'm gonna do, we have been sent another fantastic song from Warren. Now, you know, Warren has recorded the classics for us, Reunification and Obrigado, Obrigada. He has gone and done it again, that man. And he has recorded for us Documentation, okay? This is a new earworm from Warren. I mean, some of you who appreciate a good song will know of the work of Jimmy Webb, okay, who penned quite a few of Glenn Campbell's songs. A particular very positive vibe, I thought, of songwriting in the turnover of the 60s into the 70s, when life just seemed a little, I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure life was very difficult for many people in that time. But, you know, we're looking back. My goodness, how are we going to look back on this time? But looking back on the 60s and 70s, and you hear the soundtrack, don't you? Up, up and away, and the boys watching the girls, watching the girls, watching the boys, watching the girls go by. Burr, burr, burr. It just, the music, the music seemed to capture the zeitgeist of the 60s and 70s as a very optimistic and upbeat time. And then, of course, came strikes and, you know, 3-day week in Britain and so on, and awful fashions. But still, the music persists, doesn't it, and creates the zeitgeist. And Warren's done it with this Documentation song. I was talking to Gilda, as I do on a Monday, visa update, and the word collation came up. And the word documentation. And I'm thinking, okay, so can he write a song that rhymes that with constipation? Did I say that out loud on that show? I think I might have done. And he's gone and done it. If I didn't say it out loud, he's read me psychically. And we've got a song that features the rhyme documentation with constipation. And I've got it for you this morning. I've got constipation for you this morning. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it because it's a couple of minutes long. It's very beautiful, very funny, as they often are. Really well-crafted songs and of a beautiful length, leaving you wanting more. He knows how to write a pop song, that man, because a pop song should be what? 2.5 minutes, 3. And when it's got to the end, you want to be, you know, this is how it was, the culture was created, I think, of the single, because it was about jukeboxes, wasn't it? As soon as the song ended, and I think that's how fades became into being, is because they started thinking, okay, well, if we fade it and it goes out on the jukebox, the kids will want to play it again. And Warren knows of this sort of stuff, I'm sure. And he writes a nice, to the point, funny song. And by the time it's finished, you want to hear it again. So I'm going to play it, and I'm going to put a few of your pictures up against it, and then we'll talk about the pictures afterwards. But before we go there, we've got to see how everyone's doing this morning, of course. Well, I am glad they have this group to help. That's the people with the licenses. Yeah, we're doing our best. It's a particularly sticky area, that one. I do love to sing the praises of Portugal, and I find myself quite compromised in that department. I mean, there's not much good I can say, actually, about how it is with IMT and how that's all being handled. And, you know, it's not their fault that Brexit happened, but the added complication for British drivers is really, really difficult. If Andy is here this morning, he will tell you that. And people trying to they don't give you a like for like, you know, so you might have been driving a beast of a motorbike for decades, and then you've got to get another test, because they might not necessarily, you might not have to, but it might point that way ultimately, that you need to keep tested again, even though you're a very competent rider. Frustration all over the place. Francis, bon dia, Andrea, James, Under, Matty, Deagle. Oh, should I say Deagle? This morning from Francis. Yes, getting ready for the storms over there in South Africa. Esta manhã fiz ou meus 15 minutos de português na sanita. Na sanita worries me at the end there. What does that mean? So yesterday, your 15 minutes of Portuguese was, I don't know, was it good? I think you might have done it there. That always confuses me. No in Portuguese looks like a no, doesn't it? And it doesn't mean that at all. Quite the opposite in many ways. Francis and James and Andrea all shouting as well in the comments. Lovely start to the day. Bon dia, Tom. How are you? Good morning from Idania Nova. Good to hear from you. And that is a really marvellous part of Portugal, Central Portugal, isn't it? Thank you for flying the flag for Central Portugal. More pics, please. Let us know what's going on over there. How are you doing this morning? Lovely, lovely contact from Central Portugal and from the south this morning. 15-minute catch-up and 15 today. Sorted! Well done, Francis. And Cape Town, he says, is bracing itself for a storm. We don't often get thunderbolts and lightning, but it's been predicted for later. So, Francis, actual thunderbolts, is that right? Is that what it said on the news? There may be thunderbolts, or we're talking about thunder and like forks of lightning, or are you actually going to get like things from a cartoon where things fly out of the sky with the thunder? Is that a thing? Is that what's going to be happening there? Be safe. We're all wanting that for you, Francis. Thank you. Can get quite crazy. Maybe some good pictures to come. There's me just thinking about the pictures. I do want you to be safe as well, Francis. I'm from Florida. Big storms happen daily in the summer. I love hurricane season. So calm yourself. No fush mouth. No biggie. It's going to be fine over there. We're all feeling that for you. I'm feeling beautiful today. That's like the old Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs joke. That Snow White was feeling grumpy, and he didn't mind it one bit. James Holley is I don't know, giving maybe a hug out. Is that the ABBA? Maybe is that two people from ABBA in your emoji there? Or is that actually an emoticon of you feeling beautiful there? Talking of ABBA-esque people, actually, I was going to save this and show you these pictures while I was playing the music. It was a little preview. Some of you yesterday would have been thinking, what is Pete Bleach on about? Jane from Rainbow, 72. What's that? This is, if this, talking of Friday Feel Good, if this doesn't make you feel good this morning, I don't know what will. Look, this is how, it's going back to the 70s again. This is how we used to roll in the UK as kids. We used to watch a man dressed up as a bear who talked to two other puppets, a rather kindly cow-like creature. Was George a cow? And Zippy, who was a rather leery sort of character, grumpy and quick-tempered. And so often there would be the bear talking to the cow, talking to the Zippy creature. And then you get the occasional song from those entertainers who you see there. And wonderful Jeffrey, far right of your picture, in the lovely... People don't dress like that anymore. I really think they should. Unless, of course, they work in a leisure centre, possibly. But look at that orange outfit with yellow lapels and yellow cuffs on his beautiful outfit there. And the entertainers, Rod, Jane, and Freddie, you see there. So, belated birthday wishes to Jane there. Who I think is she getting married to one of the others there? Or is that another entertainer altogether? But looking fabulous, darling. Really looking showbiz there, Jane. You ain't lost it, girl. And so lovely to be able to wish you a happy birthday and bring you in front of people from Britain who will remember you from the 1970s. Back to your comments. Lude is here. The occasional Lude. Bon dia from a somewhat rainy and overcast Johannesburg. Well, are you going to get the same sort of weather there, I wonder, Lude? Talk to Francis about that. Mark is also here. Bon dia alegria from Mark. Very good. Simple but effective. Not you, your words there. Maybe you as well. Too much caffeinated coffee today. Yes, you are quite commenty, if I may say so, this morning, James. Nothing wrong with that. Francis, thunder and lightning in Cape Town is like fire and brimstone. Oh, okay. So it's looking pretty serious there. I didn't mean to make light of it. Okay, let's see what's happening. Poo and chew. What? Oh, yes, of course. Back to that in just a moment, because loads more comments have come in. I've got things to play you, and we're getting constipated. We're getting comment constipation here. Nothing wrong with that. Let's get stuck into it. Let's as the old accountant, how does an accountant deal with constipation? He works it out with a pencil, of course. And there's a fly in the room as well. So we've got everything we might possibly need for an exciting show this morning. There's a fly in the room. Marvelous. So yeah, very, very frightening to me. Jackie's here as well. Bon dia, todos, James, Holley. Yes, watch the driving license exchange. Started this after our CEF on the 28th of October. I wish I had better news for you. I really do. Good morning from Jacqueline Branco as well. Hello, Jacqueline. How are you? And end of CEF approved on the Portugal News website. I have something serious to say about that, actually. And I might just have to get myself in a different mindset altogether to do that. But let's come back. I've made a note on my piece of paper here that I very rarely look at. Yes, CEF, of course, going through changes. I would like to say something about that. And I'm going to play you some music in a minute because I need to cough. Marcos Valbon. Good morning, Carl. Oh, what is that? Is that an aromatherapy diffuser emoticon? Get everything these days, can't you? Coach Turner is here. Well, we're completing the first module. A nice, easygoing start with walking. Looking at running next week, right, Coach? Dull but dry here in the UK. Friday at last. Have a great one. Oh, I always limit my exposure for the benefit of the neighbours. Talking of limiting exposure, big time lewd. Okay, they really are getting ready for the storm in Cape Town there. We all seem to run for cover when it's the usual in Josie in Johannesburg there. Gary Austin is here. Come up. Bon dia, alegria a todos. Very good to see you, my friend. Excellent to have you with us last Friday, of course, with Linda, live from Tamar. Absolutely. I have a wake up playlist. Okay, well, come on. Copy and paste it into the comments there. We want to know people's feel good formulas. They don't teach it at school. We need to learn from each other. I mean, this is actually partly inspired yesterday. Maybe that's not the right word to use, but Andy shared the news that one of his students committed suicide yesterday. What a terrible thing. And we're in the middle, aren't we? Let's face it. Let's be honest about this, of an epidemic of mental health challenges around the world. I was going to say the Western world. I think that's accurate to say, isn't it? You know, our so-called developed world. We're not very healthy, are we, in many ways? And mental health, a big question mark around mental health, and the biggest killer of men under 45 is suicide, I understand. What is going wrong? What can we do about it? You know, us lot, we're getting on a bit, aren't we? Let's face it. We should have some good news and we should have some tactics to share with the young people, right? Rather than just shrugging our shoulders and, you know, well, I don't know. Do you? Let's know. Let's find out. Let's teach these youngsters how to minimize the unhappiness in their lives, right? Whether or not they listen, of course, is their prerogative. But I mean, I think we can do better. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. Pamela Smith is here. Bon dia. And I'm minded to show your cornucopias again, one more time, because Louise is over there in Alcobaça. She'll be able to enjoy this treat here. And we still don't quite know how to apply that bowl of sweetness to anything else that might be in the picture. But that's what comes to mind when I see your name, Pam. How are you this morning? It's a bon dia, right back at you there. Let's eat castaña asada. Okay, so it's the old... I was in Leroy's yesterday. People who are here will know what I mean. And... I actually bought Jimmy Choo a nice new cushion in there. They've got a nice kennel cushion. He's a pampered pooch. I don't think I've ever bought a dog a cushion before, but Jimmy Choo, he's that kind of dog. He has you doing things for him. He knows how to work it, does that Jimmy Choo. And so it's in Leroy's buying various things, including dog cushions. And they've got the old galvanized chestnut roaster in there. It looks like a great bit of kit. And yes, so it is the time of year, is it not? Halloween, the harvest time, and time to eat the old roasted chestnuts. Good call, Marcus. You can do it, everybody. He's talking about getting through the thunderstorms as well as learning your Portuguese. 15 minutes a day, everybody. I think it's working for us. I have to say, the net contribution towards European Portuguese speaking has gone up just because of this community this week. Well done, everybody. Pooh and Chew, of course. I now know what you mean. Peggy Pooh and Jimmy Chew, the two dogs who I was out with this morning while I was pondering philosophical matters. When asked, how are you? Says Jim. Good morning, Jim. I sometimes remember to say, the best day of my life. I bet that surprises people, doesn't it? Just saying it can shift our moods. Yes, the way we speak to ourselves and each other is so important, isn't it? They're spells, people. The things we utter over ourselves and each other are powerful. So why wouldn't we use that wisely? Ian Turner from Matty. Did Carl send you my contact? I'm not a flipping secretary, Matty. If not, maybe we can connect on the Expats Portugal forums. No, it'd be my pleasure. It just occasionally I get a bit busy and some things slip. Now, there is a feel-good formula, right? Do some people have lists as part of their... I mean, I daren't start making lists because I'll have... The first thing on my list will be make a list, which then might take me all day, is my fear with lists. But yes, Matty, we'll make sure that happens. Looking forward to your pain management input. I think that could be quite useful with the old knees and wrists, etc. Bon dia alegria. Happiness is subjective, but give a turkey or goose a cabbage and you can witness pure joy. Pictures, video. Come on, we need to see that. We need to see that as an example from the animal kingdom of like, if a turkey can be made so happy with a cabbage, surely us human beings aren't that much more, well, we are, aren't we? We're very much more complicated. And therein lies the problem, I would say. Part of the problem is our muito complicado way of being, right? Let's get it simple again, folks. How can we recapture the simple joy of gobbling a cabbage? Answers on a postcard. Well, no, put them in the comments right here, right now. Being here, right now. That's part of the formula, is it not? Good morning, says Nuno. Finally, the weekend is arriving. Well, thanks to my friend. And what a legend you are, joining us last night on the Expats Portugal Plan Q&A. Really good. As ever, Nuno, thank you for your input there. Great to see you this morning too. Jean is here too. Missed you last night, Jean. Happy Friday all. How are you? Jim White, yes, I always respond with great, fantastic, mate. And sometimes thank you for the reminder. Okay, so I need to drill down a bit more into Jim's comment. How are you? Okay, yes, so thanks for the reminder to someone asking. Yes, because you're a little check, can't you? Breathing, there's a good start. Alive, there's another good aspect of things this morning. My goodness. And I'm sure we are among some of the most fortunate people in terms of circumstances in the whole darn world, right? Let's face it, and let's not forget that, folks. I'm not meaning to lecture you here, by the way, although it may sound uncannily like it at times, especially the abbreviation of a sexta-feira. What does that look like? Sex F or something like that. I've not noticed that, Francis. You have, you mucky rascal. Hola, bon dia, kids, from Victoria. Great video from Victoria this morning. Or was it two? Certainly one of a cruise liner. Shopping's having to be delayed in Portimao. The tourists are in, and plenty of them by the look of it. Thanks, Victoria, for that. We'll play that in just a moment. As well as the Warren tune. Half an hour in, we still haven't played. I was thinking, I'll just go in with the music. Half an hour later, still haven't done it. Yesterday was a day of mundane errands. Nothing wrong with that. Celebrate the mundane, I say. So the dentist, the optician, the vets, it's a busy day. And you don't want to get those mixed up, do you? You know, the wrong thing in the wrong place could be quite awkward in that little list. Or incorporated it into our daily walk, speaking Portuguese, using local businesses, enjoying the simple things in life. She's nailed it. I think that's really important. You know, we like to think, don't we, that the mundane errands are the things that get in the way of us enjoying our life. Well, it looks like Pamela has incorporated that, yes, into the daily walk, speaking Portuguese, using the local businesses, the simple things in life. I am a big fan of celebrating the mundane, really. I mean, you can find joy in pretty much anything, as the Marquis de Sade, I think, discovered. Hola, bon dia, from my little part of... Oh, come on. We're trying to help people feel good here. Plague Island, honestly, back home on Monday. He's talking about United Kingdom. My goodness, I hear that they, in total so far, the UK have done 321 million COVID tests. And you know what? I keep finding it. Jackie Polly, it's going to be an amazing day. This is how I always start my days. Woohoo! Yes, Jackie. Quote of the day. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. There you go. Talking of constipation, Roman philosopher Seneca, he knew how to get things moving, didn't he? Certainly with a pithy quote like that. Happiness is always available. It's a choice. I got to agree with you, James. I got to agree with you there. James Holley, yes, and sometimes it generates a smile and therefore impacts their day. It's fun to atch people's faces. I'm thinking that's watch. It could be catch, couldn't it? What else could it be? Latch. I'm thinking it's watch, Jim, isn't it? Let's hope it's watch, because we don't want to be having fun catching people's faces, do we? Not without their permission. It's not harder, but it definitely takes longer to get the driving license. Okay, yes, all right. So a longer process. So good news there. Hang on in there, folks. You'll get it in the end, as Thunder has done. Garvo, I knew Garvo would have something pithy for me. One of the most important things they don't tell kids is that it's okay to be individual. And you don't have to agree on everything as long as you respect others' views and their freedom of choice. And you couldn't wish for a greater bit of contribution there at this time in history, right? Wouldn't that be a good thing? Wouldn't that be a good legacy from this time where people are struggling with respecting others' views, I would say? And can we not create an atmosphere where that is absolutely the order of the day, Garvo? Well said, sir. The man of reason. That's why he's called that there, with a comment of that kind. Waiting in anticipation of Thunder's arrival. All kinds of thunder this morning. Boom quack this morning. And at Jim. And sometimes they want to know how I got there. Yes, you seem like a happy guy. What are you taking? Good morning, Carl, from Elaine Godley, who I think knows a thing or two about well-being as well. Good morning to you, Elaine. How are you? Well, I'm sure. Bon dia. I lost sleep last night worrying about the driving license issue. Oh, no, Gary, no. That was never our intention. We'll get through this. We really will. not every aspect of Portuguese life is all roses and chocolates and bacalhau. There are things that are difficult, and there's things that are especially difficult at the moment. But don't worry, mate. I mean, you couldn't wish for a better community to be part of. 9,000 members on a plus on the Expats Portugal forum. We will, and that's why we put these things on, is to help people get through it. Although it looked like I'm using a driving metaphor, it did look like we were in a bit of a cul-de-sac last night, didn't it? But onward and upward, and we will get there with this, and we'll all support each other with this. Okay, so please, no, don't be losing sleep over that. Lude, my favorite quote: "Other people's opinion of you is none of your business." Lude, that's such good news, isn't it? To realize that. And there's another one, and I can never get it quite right. My dear mate Bruce, I must get in touch with Bruce. He says something like, "If you realized how little people thought of you, blah, blah, blah," meaning that we think that other people think about us quite a lot. And they don't. They are too busy thinking about their own problems to be worried about you or me quite often. You might come onto the radar from time to time, and humans being humans, they'll think, yeah, what a plonker, or whatever. Or, well, he wasn't too bad on the show this morning, I suppose. He's always banging on about something, happiness or whatever, blah. And then they're off. They've gone again. They've given their opinion about you, and they're off worrying about driving licenses or something like that than in the next minute. Zoom is far superior to Farmyard. What? You're going to have to teach me how to use it then, Pete. You're a teacher though, aren't you? I think I can imagine teaching on Zoom. For the teacher, it's going to be a better, a more controllable environment for sharing information. I think for community facilitation, Farmyard, you must have tried it and not liked it. Had a great Zoom call with Jenny yesterday. Yes, lots of love to Jenny. That's Jenny B. Don't be fooled by the rocks that she got. And the rocks that she got, a pile of rocks in central Portugal, of course. We met via your show, and we are collaborating on her Rainbow Guardian project. Exciting. Good Morning Portugal rocks. More rocks there. That's fantastic. A noun is agradável. Thank you very much. But what does it mean? Oh, nice. 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 Matty, Portugal translation. Good morning, joy to everyone from a dry and sunny Amsterdam. Hope we all have a super nice Friday. Not just nice, but super nice. And a very relaxed weekend. Sarah, hello, Sarah. We got so much from info from last night's chats. That's my head exploding. So sorry. It's not the thunder and lightning in Cape Town. It's actually Sarah's head looking for a chauffeur so I don't have to do my driving test again. Yes, there are openings now for chauffeurs all across Portugal should this situation not get any easier. And that was it. We were thinking, that there's an opening definitely for an expat-oriented driving school here in Portugal with a good deal on the 50 lessons you have to take. I think is it 28 theory and 32 practical? That's going to cost a bit, isn't it? And so there's an opening for somebody who can work well with Americans, Brits, and other expats, Canadians. And every time I just start talking a sentence about expats and I think of UK and US first, I think about all the other people who I'm offending. I do not mean to. I really don't. But an expat-focused driving school, great business opportunity coming. You'll thank me for it if you start that up. And being a chauffeur. I do like the uniform. I wouldn't mind doing a bit of that myself. It's not going to be cheap, folks. And because I'll be doing a live stream a lot of the time whilst moving you around Portugal. Actually, it's not such a bad idea. Hybrid business. Sorry, still figuring out to find accents on keyboard, aren't we all, Francis? That can take some time, my friend. And a lovely picture from you, Bon dia from Olya and Yalgov. Makes me feel so good to be back and tuning in this morning. So there's a feel-good formula by the sound of it. Anna, you're so welcome back. Who am I to say that? But certainly from me, it's a bem-vindo. Portugal from me, and I'm sure from many others here. Delighted to see you back in the country, as delighted as you are yourself to be here. On Mac, the fly is coming in. Francis Gersbach, on Mac, hold the letter down and an accent menu will pop up. Yes, well thought out. Steve himself probably thought of that one, didn't he? The old typography man. And more coaching coming in from various quarters on the accents. What about PCs? Bon dia, there he is. Is he just known as Afonso, that man, or just as Zeca? But that's a great picture, isn't it? A cool icon from 70s Portugal. Bon dia, viva Portugal e o povo. Wow, yes, viva Portugal and its people. Thank you, Eusebio. Good morning to you. And Will Thompson is here, everybody. I'm good, thanks. Settled in an actual house with, get this, a microwave. My goodness, Will. Welcome to the 21st century, my friend. And those things in the window, there'll be curtains and stuff you sit on. That's furniture, mate. Enjoy. Stunning views. I'll WhatsApp you. Please do, Will. I'm so glad to hear that you're having a bit of comfort, mate. You deserve it. On the toilet. Well, thank you. Oversharing there, I think, possibly. And I see Nasanita in the toilet. So who was that who was talking about reporting from the toilet this morning? Rude. No, Carl. Second translation is this morning. I did my 15 minutes of Portuguese on the toilet. Oh, yes, it's the Sanita. Didn't we have a pop star in the UK called Sanita? She didn't. Her work probably didn't sell very well in Portugal, did it? Here's the latest hit from Sanita. Ooh. Not me, the translation. Guess gets me every time. Hola, bon dia. Good to meet you yesterday, Capricorn 12. GMP, Jazz Funk Track of the Day. Oh, it's a banger, everybody. Patrice Russians, Send Me Forget-Me-Nots, which, of course, George Michael, who came into our conversation yesterday, sampled that, didn't he? To good effect. So Patrice Russians, Forget-Me-Nots. She is so talented. What an amazing keyboard player. Look at some of her older stuff, her jazz stuff, folks. Patrice Russian. Everyone knows that tune, don't they? And can't sit still when it comes on. Wouldn't have set the scene for the meme. Is that toilet talk again? I am moving to central Algarve shortly, renting an off-grid farm where I'll be hosting health retreats. Excited. Well, you keep us posted about those, won't you, Elaine? And we will be delighted. I need a sip of water, folks. You're keeping me talking. Hold on a minute. I need to mute. No slurping here. Dr. Bayards are keeping things moving with the old Constipado. I signed up for the driving license info, but there was no room. What? We'll make sure that webinar is on YouTube soon. The presentation is very quick, actually, and then get yourself on the forum with any further questions. Oh, my goodness, waiting for the upload on YouTube. I will deal with that over the weekend, Khadija. My goodness, another thing to add to the list this morning, as well as organizing Matty. Hold on a minute. Big swathe, big swathe missed out. Scrolling back, all of my lovelies from Owen. Lovely to see that. An update from Will. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we got to Patrice Russian, didn't we? And setting scenes for memes. Marcos telling us that agradavil means nice, and descontrado is more when you have a feeling good on the morning. Well, that's good. That's the way to start the day. What? Jane from Rainbow has joined your audience. No, well, it was her 72nd birthday yesterday. Isn't that amazing? So, yes, the continuation of accent tips and hacks in the comments there. And yes, Will, enjoy the view, ditch the microwave. He's only just got into the 21st century and he's already been told, yeah, I don't have a microwave, very rarely use one. They can be useful, can't they? But I'm still a bit of a Luddite with that sort of stuff. I'm not sure I want the DNA of my food altered. It's enough of that going on already. Sound quality just changed for me. I turned off the microphone for a moment and had a sip of coffee. Anyone else? A sip of water, I mean. Anyone else have a problem? But it's so novelty for me. I haven't used one in decades. They've probably come on a bit as well, haven't they? They probably don't do your kidneys when you lean up against it. But don't try that at home. Carl, didn't Jane from Rainbow end up marrying both Rod and Freddie? Not at the same time. Bit complicated. Well, Pete sent in the picture, and he's probably the biggest Rainbow fan here. And if I just look at that again, so she would have been married to both those gentlemen. And I'm thinking the one on the right there in the bottom left, if you see what I mean, nice dress, Jane, with the pinched waistband, contrasting the blue and the yellow there. And I think that is the gentleman who's on the right of that picture in one of the possible marriages there, allegedly. So yes, very possibly, very showbiz. I suppose that they're the children's TV equivalent of Fleetwood Mac, maybe. Is that possibly how we would describe them? Onward, anyway. Enough speculation about Rod, Jane, and Freddie. Bravo! Rainbow, Magpie, etc. All part of my childhood. Magpie was very good, and another lady who some of us may have had a crush on. In there, what was her name? The presenter from Magpie, etc. All part of my childhood and worryingly influential. True. I mean, do you sometimes find yourself shouting like Zippy in the house, Ian, Coach Turner? A driving license nightmare. It is so random. Oh, let's not get started on that. It's Feelgood Friday, everybody. Me and Diane applied at the same time. I got mine in 2 weeks, and Diane's went to the Algarve on holiday, never to be seen again. I'm sure it's having a nice time there. Little pair of sunglasses, little deck chair, sat down there on Oliao next to Anna, maybe. Hola, my lovelies from Owen. How are you, mate? Good to see you here this morning. And Pedro Martins, bon dia from Windsor in Canada. I hear the Queen of England, talking of Windsor, is not too well at the moment, sending you love and best wishes for a speedy recovery, Your Majesty. If Frank can get some sort of gong, don't see why we shouldn't both do that. Hope she's improving. Hey, Andy, so sorry to hear of your student. Big hugs. Yeah, absolutely, Victoria. Awful news that yesterday. And yeah, we absolutely all love and hugs to Andy, and of course to all the students and the family. Terrible situation now. It's an Ola Owen from Will, and glad it is having a good time. That's the driving license in the Algarve, but it's been away since October last year. Seems to have more holidays than Boris Johnson, and that is saying something, isn't it? But probably not as many children. Unless there are little baby driving licenses wandering about down in the Algarve as well. Bon dia yesterday. Hello, Beverly. Was spent emptying and cleaning my kitchen cupboards. And exciting life in the fast lane. And living a dream there and clearing out the excessive readiness. Clearing out the excessive readiness. Clearing out the excess in readiness of moving. This lightening of the load makes me feel good. Back to constipation again. I'm sure that's what Seneca said as well. This lightening of the load, gentlemen of the forum, makes me feel good. Looking forward to having friends around to take up my excess for their pleasure. Oh, matron. Thunderduck. Are you guys still talking about accents? It's like men discussing a route. Oh no, you don't want to get the IC2. You get the A8. Pedro Martins, dia de São Martinho, como se castañas y beba se vinho. Okay, so the day. And so you're going to eat the chestnuts and drink the wine. Well, I live in San Martino de Porto, in case you didn't know. Where have you been? And does that mean it's going to be an extra big celebration of the roasting of the nuts this way and drinking of the wine, the libations? I wonder. I have to find out. Does anyone know? And actually, that reminds me, another thing to add to my list, the Templars. Because we didn't, Gary Garver, we didn't really do it justice, did we? Veronica was helping us with Americans in Portugal because she loves, obviously, the Templars and all the history of Tamar. But we're going to have to do a Templar special as well as the Saints. We've got to keep covering the Saints here in Portugal. Does anyone know where you can buy a beekeeper smoker thingy in central Portugal? Is that like a hack for doing your own shisha pipe in the man cave, possibly, Gary? Because I think get your old shisha pipe in a Chinese shop at fairly good value. I may have seen one in Agrilogia one day, but I can't remember. That's a good place to start, isn't it? It's an odd question. I know. What is he going to be doing with that? So let's guess. What is Gary going to be doing with a beekeeping smoker in the man cave? Smoking his kippers, possibly, by hand. Sexta-feira is a bom dia e boa sexta-feira para todos from Antonio F. Good morning, sir. And remember gratitude. Okay, let's take a moment to remember gratitude. Seriously, everybody, because if you do it conceptually, yeah, I'm grateful. Move on. Could you please just pause for a moment and give me a chance to have another sip of water? And I'm going to play the song in a minute. 45 minutes here. We still haven't played the song. Let us just take a moment to reflect on things we're grateful for in our lives. I'm watching you. I'm listening to you. I can hear what you're thinking. How was that? Okay, you can let me know on Monday if that improved things, which it will, okay? Because whilst you're remembering good things, you can't be thinking about bad things for one thing, yeah? 6A. Looks like where someone lives, doesn't it? Sexta-feira. But I'm not sure that's what Francis meant. I don't know. And maybe he's had trouble Googling that in the past, trying to scrub his history as we speak, having typed in, what does sexta-feira mean? Antonio, accepted connection request today. Sorry for the delay. I had forgotten all about it. So well done, everyone who's on the forum as well. Make sure you are. Bon dia, Victoria Benson. Had your morning beach walk already? Oh, she so has. And as soon as we've stopped chatting here, I can show you some of the documentary evidence of that. Hola, bon dia a todos. Good to see all the wonderful peeps here today. Hello, Hank. How's Connie today? Hello to Helen as well. The grand essentials Oh, excellent. Good. Another pithy quote. The grand essentials to happiness in this life are something to do, something to love, and something to hope for. Do you know what? That sounds a lot like that's been not. I'm not going to use the P word. That's been borrowed, influenced by. Is it Russell Cormack, a wonderful man who writes a lot about community? And he said something very similar. So George Washington Burnap, it would seem to be the origin of that. And it's so true, isn't it? Something to do. So an occupation of some kind to keep that monkey mind focused on something positive, something or someone to love, right? Of course. And something to hope for. Without hope, the humans perish, don't they? We do need hope. We do need hope, folks. So that's beautiful, Helen. Thank you very much for that. More feel-good formulas, please put them in the comments. I should mention real quick, I know there's a lot of people who have reached out to me on the forums, and I've been slammed this week and haven't been able to get back to you yet. Okay, so hang on in there. Hang on for Hank. I will catch up with everyone this weekend. Well done, mate. Thank you for that. And thank you for doing so many solids for people. Constipation again. Thank you for being so helpful. Let me put it that way for so many people in the comments. Or not in the comments, in the forum. What am I talking about? Ordinary Miracle. I get an idea of your soundtrack here, James, with the old Sarah Mclacchlan there. Hank, how is Connie doing today? Yes, we want to know, please. We want to know. She wasn't feeling so great yesterday. More healing vibes coming from Matty, so let us know, do. Discovered yesterday that the European Indoor Athletics Championships is in Braga next February. Yes, that's good news. I will come and meet you there. I want to go to Braga. Folks up to 100 years old competing, very life affirming. Now that's, you always see the old St. John's ambulance or equivalent, don't you, at an athletics meeting. Now, when the centenarians, is that what they're called? Centurions, let's call them centurions, are competing. They must sort of get extra vigilant at that moment, right? That's going to be, and no disrespect to those people. They're legends, aren't they? Folks competing up to 100 years, but it's going to be a little bit of a worry, isn't it? The GMP theme song cheers me up in the morning. Good incentive to try to make the start of the show at 3:30 in the morning. My goodness. Extra awards and love for you, Gene. That's so amazing to be reminded that people listen to this show at 3:30 in the morning. There's a little bit of a change, a window, isn't there, for a week or two where our times get closer. Spring forward, fall back. So hopefully you'll be able to take advantage of that as well. Connie is good, everybody. It was just a real bad migraine for a day. She was back at work today doing fine. Thanks. That's good to know. Love the Friday vibe, GMPers. Hello, campers. Hello, Mr. Austin. Two Austins in what do you call a gathering of Austins, I wonder. And what does your brother want a beekeeping smoker for? Is he smoking kippers in the man cave, I wonder? Good to see you, Terence. And mate, where did you say? I did say I'd feature your fabulous artwork. Seeing your name and face there is a reminder for me. And I do believe the ones in Messenger tend to get overlooked. So do WhatsApp me, folks, the pictures. That will make it a lot easier for me. But I'll come back to your one in a moment there, Terence, because it's a beautiful thing to share with people. Was planning on biting the bullet to go get my PT SIM card phone service until I saw the cruise ship. Yeah, they're going to be inundated, aren't they? Even if the town is crowded, the 1 hour walk to town will be muito interesante. I think it's going to be great to see all those tourists coming in, and we'll show that video in just a moment. So I think a lot of the rest of the comments are people talking to each other, which is great, but no need for me to read them all out. Yes, sorry about that, Khadija. We're back there. Dealing with bureaucracy is a first world problem. There you go. That's a worthwhile reminder, isn't it? We can prepare ourselves, can't we, when going to have a day out in Portugal, when you're going to a government office. Take sandwiches, take your tablet with you, your digital tablet, not your headache tablets, although you might need those as well, of course. Yeah, you're quite right, Eusebio. We should remember how lucky we are, and that these things, as annoying as they are, we'll get through them. And also, I think I said last night in one of our gatherings, you have to embrace it in Portugal. This is not Germany or Switzerland where you can think, okay, everything's done now. That's it for another year or whatever. It's ongoing. It's part of Portuguese life that the bureaucratic wheels turn and things are ongoing and sometimes never resolved. And it's just part of life. I think it's worth cultivating that idea or that approach. I really do. I did have a quick one. Ooh. It's called the spotlight effect. Others thinking about me, which they don't, right? Would you agree with me on that, James? They do a little bit, don't they? And there's only one thing worse than being talked about, and it's not being talked about. As an attention seeker myself, I can certainly understand the appeal of that comment. But really, I don't think other people do think about us very much. We're all too busy thinking about ourselves a lot of the time, right? And that's good work to consider and to be observant about. My barriers end where yours starts. That's also good. Thank you very much, Owen, for that. Something to consider there. My barriers end where yours starts. And that's like the overlap, as well as developing healthy boundaries, possibly. Slightly enigmatic there. Do you want to say more, Owen? Bob, I haven't seen Jenny forever. What does that mean? I'm feeling exposed again. I'm not sure what that means in that context. Jenny's on the first Feelgood Friday of the month, so she'll be with us not next week where Mia's here, but the week after that. Okay, so not much longer to wait, and we'll see Jenny again. Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Always good to refer to Dr. Seuss, right? For a good insight on life. Thank you very much for Thunder. I knew you wouldn't let me down, and you'd have something to contribute to this conversation this morning. Feel good formulas, always good to do it every now and then. I agree with Elaine. I've made fantastic connections via this show too, including Elaine's own health club. Wonderful. Keep it going, folks. Keep up the great work. Johnny RG, good morning all. Just landed back in the UK after 3 months in the Algarve. We'll be back as soon as possible. No sooner landed than planning the next trip, Johnny RG. Good to hear it. How was it? No photos from you. Speaking of expat business opportunities, I'm meeting with Gene in December when he gets back. I'm thinking I'll try to talk him into opening a private practice in Portugal. Gene, which Gene is that? Remind me, Hank. Not Eugene with a poachine brewing business, is it? Expat driving school is a fab idea, especially for people from South Africa and UK used to driving on the left-hand side of the road. Lesson 1, that is. Yeah, I agree, Lou. Someone's going to do it. He can be a concierge doctor to the expats. Is that Gene then? Forgive me, I can't connect that name with the face right now. Pete and Diane's driving license experience just about sums up how things work here in Portugal. Some things, Louise, not all things, right? You want a coffee and a pastel de nata, it's not going to take months. Those are going to be with you on the table within a few seconds, minutes, and you're going to be enjoying them, right? Oh, we're going to solve the mystery of the beekeeping smoker among all the shouting that's going on. Victoria, Drew, Porch, don't hyperventilate. Hold on a minute. What's going on now? Somebody hyperventilating in the comments here. One suitcase, a gradavel, roasting of the nuts, roasted chest. Oh, goodness gracious. Please, can we stop commenting just for a moment, please? This is Stephen Wells. I'm going to call it the Stephen Wells threshold, where the comments just get too much for Carl. I love them. I really do, but I can't keep up this morning. Busted news, Will, from Galay. That's on your little retreat there, I think, Will. On yesterday's linguistic issue, Saint and Cento are both 100. Cento is more used if you're saying 101. Okay, 122. Okay, 150. Thank you very much for sorting that, Xavier. And wherever I see an at, I'm not going to read that, okay, so that we can get through here. Thank you for doing that, by the way. If your comment is directed at someone else and you're just chatting with each other, it's like a school, isn't it? Be quiet at the back. If you're going to talk to each other, yes. What's so funny, Austin? Share it with the class. No, if you're going to talk to each other, that's great. Stick an at in front of it, and then I won't need to read those. I'm on here for being an expat's driving instructor, as the standard of driving here needs urgent help. It's different, Rugby Colin. But are you going to start a business? Is this the Colin we know and love under a different? This is YouTube, isn't it? This is our Colin. And he thinks driving here, it's different. It's different. It's just different. It's learning a new culture. And that would be another good reason, wouldn't it? Lessons 2, 3, 4, and 5. Parking on roundabouts, stopping in the middle of the road, those sorts of things which are culturally acceptable. They're not wrong. They're just different. Prepositions are tricky. In, on, big difference. Yes. And, that's not at comment. I don't need that to do that. Well, I'm training myself here and you're helping me. Natalie Gray. Bon dia. Practicing mindfulness has made me worry less, calmer, and happy. That's fantastic. Mindfulness has been such an amazing contribution, has it not, to society? And some of my daily routine, actually record meditations as well. So 10 minutes of meditation a day. That's all I do. Maybe, I mean, I slip into a meditative state quite often, but formally, I make sure I sit for at least 10 minutes a day. 15 minutes of Portuguese, as you all now know, and as a lot of you are doing. Attempting to get up at 6 and going to bed by 11. That's not working very well in recent days. And the fitness program, Growing Old Disgracefully, but a grey watch with Coach Turner, making sure I'm mindful about my exercise. Oh, and what was it? What was I calling it? Distraction busting. I took Facebook off my phone 2 weeks ago. Wow, one of the best things ever. So much more time available for doing things that are so much more useful. I could check into Facebook on the PC, can't I? A couple of times a day. And it's been so good to get the Facebook app off the phone. It really is. While we're about it, would anyone mind if I stop live streaming? I know I probably shouldn't put it like this because somebody will say yes, and then I'll be stuck there forever. But I honestly, I want to just stream on YouTube. I don't want to stream on Facebook anymore. And would that be a problem? Can people make the transition to YouTube for those few of you who are watching on Facebook? No disrespect to you as individuals, but I'm working for, it costs me quite a lot to stream to different platforms. And I'm working for Facebook. YouTube, they give you something back, don't they? You create content on YouTube. People are members here of YouTube. It's great. YouTube actually help feed my children. Facebook take food out of the mouths of my children. They just take, and they're using my content as just as their digital wallpaper to put adverts on, and nothing comes from Facebook. So I'm thinking of just going all in on YouTube and stop it. Can you support me in that, everybody, and make that little transition and make that easier for me? Even at 55, I get mixed up between 60 and 70. Okay, what sort of trouble does that get you in, Eusebia? And Philomena, it's a Philomena Friday by default here this morning because she's here this morning. Bon dia todos. You were talked about very positively last night in a conversation I was having, Philomena. Boa sexta-feira! Carl needs a haircut. What? It's true, actually, isn't it? It's gone a bit bushy, that bit. Yes, I do need a haircut, Michael. Good morning and welcome to you. We have find you. Find you even at 56. I still get found and find confused. We found you. Where have you been, Michael? We've been working hard on your behalf. And where have you been? Just swanning around Lisbon, no doubt. The Whisk, mate, this is for you. The Whisk breakfast. Thunder found this for you. English breakfast, $9.50. Now you can probably get to the Algarve for $3 because this is what Victoria found you down in the Algarve. The Irish Rover. We'll do you a breakfast, the full shebang for just €6. See how hard we work for you, Michael Heron? And yes, I do need a haircut. Should we go down together in Portuguese style to the barbers and get ourselves a couple of tattoos as well? Hang out, have a beer, get a haircut, get a tattoo. Friday afternoon. You up for it, mate? Costa Diogo. Hi, hello, good morning to all. Diogo, how are you? Where are you? That's an comment. Don't need to do that. Roasted chestnuts for breakfast again in the microwave. That is not, strictly speaking, there'll be chefs just palming their foreheads at the moment. That is not roasting, Will, unless, of course, it's a combi microwave. Roasting is somewhat different, but that could be fun if you don't prick them and put them in the microwave. Make sure you have the householder's permission. There's so much, of course, it's so much faster, but it's not really roasting, is it? It's just warming them by altering their DNA with isotopes. You're the scientist. You know what's going on there. There are 4 trees here just dropping tons. So it is the season, harvesting before the javali come and scoff them all. Be careful out there with the javali. Of course, you could have roasted hog with a chestnut puree, could you not? With that combo there. Lewd roasting of the nuts sounds like a medieval torture. Indeed, and probably was. Not just holding the feet to the fire. Magpie was a very serious, unlike Blue Peter. I love to take heart and the gallery. Magusto, chestnuts and wine. I feel a song coming on. Google it. Coming up in November. Okay, Google Magusto. And good morning. Andy is here now. How you feeling, mate? How's your head this morning? Not after drinking too much, but being on that webinar. And let's go. We can scroll through. It's just people shouting at each other and ats. I don't need to deal with those. About the beekeeper's outfit, Google Cooperativa Agricola in your area. They would have it. So I've just discovered this Cooperativa Agricola. There's one in Alcobaça. What a fantastic shop it is. And it truly is a cooperative, is it not? I've got to rest my voice. I'm going to show you some video. I'm going to play you a song. But I just want to get to the end of these. Flying back in soon. Going to change my driving license before I lose all of my categories indeed. But breathe and breathe deeply and intentionally. Breathe. It's we could do our own version of the sunscreen song with all. We just select from the comments this morning. Get that sound. Get Warren to write us a backing track, and then I wouldn't mind just say and breathe deeply and intentionally. But don't hyperventilate. That will spoil the experience. Portuguese lessons learned the hard way. We order from a takeaway once a week. Yes, we had dobrada yesterday, and I thought it was dorada. Oh, I'm so sorry. You're in the north. You got tripe. Now, normally I warn people not to order the torrada instead of the dorada. I mean, it would probably be nicer to get toast than tripe for some people. I wouldn't mind trying tripe, actually. It's a rather anemic thing, isn't it? It doesn't need a bit of color in the dish. So dorada, of course, is fish, and dobrada is tripe, which sounds a bit Polish, doesn't it? What was it like? Or did it go? Was it given straight to the dog? Antonio. Oh, no, that's not for me. If I can make somebody laugh over the course of the day, that makes me feel good. Absolutely. Yep, for sure. Man cave type shout outs. Yes, all over. It's just like it's completely infectious, isn't it? Just someone turns up and it just starts all over again. Diogo, just taking one day at a time for me and enjoying the present day. There's a feel good formula. Love you guys from Hank and Maxine. They would have this. Otherwise, look at the honey being sold in your area. It will probably come from a beekeeper in your area. The contacts will be on the left. She's good. Maxine is some kind of sleuth. I'm not going to get to the end of the comments, am I? I'm going to come back to those. I'm going to play you a song and show you, not personally, I'm going to play you a recording of a song. And I'm going to show a few of your pictures, and we'll come back and explain the pictures afterwards. So here we go from Warren Sharm, everybody. This is documentation, but no, not in that tune, in a new one, in a Jimmy Webb style. This is beautiful.
Documentation and collation for access to my new nation. DD7 on a tight ration. Sometimes it's as slow as constellation. Ooh. One day I know Sep will come through. I'll get my QR code and come join you. And even Fido won't make me blue. It's documentation and correlation for access to my brand new nation. Access to my brand new nation. Ooh. Access to my brand new nation.
My brand new nation. Wasn't that good? That's documentation by Warren Sharm. I need to put a link to that, don't I? So you can hear all. They're on the podcast that we do, and some of you don't even know we do a podcast. I mention it from time to time. Lots of love to you people listening through your ears, doing it in your ears right now. I'm so pleased. And what I didn't get to, there wasn't that a great little picture show. That was like the gallery, wasn't it, from Take Heart? I didn't show you this that came in from who was this? Who sent us this? I think it was. Oh my goodness! Somebody on the Q&A, James, possibly in Mexico. Forgive me if I'm my brain is awash with names and faces and praying mantises. But this is a picture from your garden and a tiny little baby one on somebody's hand. There, isn't that beautiful? video to show you next, but I love showing all those pictures. What so many lovely familiar faces: Francis's coffee machine, Zay Pavino, and someone's mug from the flight deck from the cockpit of a plane. Isn't that great? We'll come back to those because I want to show you a bit of video. This was a lovely message that came in this morning from Louise. Okay. And she said to me, "Oh, where's that gone now? WhatsApp shut itself down." So, oh no, it's opening up again. We're all right. We're all right. But what I'll do is I'll go back to the video first, and then I'll explain what Louise says after. Check this out, folks. And she's a lucky lady with the lifestyle she lives. Just look at this, for example.
Just sitting on my balcony, enjoying a lovely cup of tea. I'm in Mclacchlan. That's the monastery right there. That's the view from my bedroom window. So I'm just waiting for the sun to come up over that mountain, and 3 lovely pets who I've looked after before. So this is a lovely, lovely spot. I'm going to enjoy seeing this town, and I'm going to meet Pam later, and she can tell me all about her manor.
That's brilliant, isn't it? I like that bit at the end, Louise. The manor. She's going to show me around her manor. She's going to show you her cornucopia and the view from up on the top of the hill. Probably not far from where you live there. That is absolutely beautiful. Let's go now from Alcobaça there. Have a great stay. And come and see us as well, for goodness sakes, Louise. From Alcobaça now on the Silver Coast, down south. We're going down south with Victoria now. Brr, brr. So no voiceover there from Victoria, but look at that cruise line. That key, beach, port. This is Portimao. It just doesn't look big enough, does it, for a great big ship like that to come into? It's amazing. Same on the Tagus, Tejo. Now we got WhatsApp again. And the palm trees blowing in the breeze in the morning there. Isn't that fantastic? We'll come back. I'll tie up some of these pictures and videos and what people have been saying this morning in just a moment. More incoming too. Lots of comments, lots of lovely things being sent to me this morning. Okay. Hey up. I couldn't make the driving license chat. Okay, that's somebody else there. Will sent a photo. Oh, Will, I've got to put that photo up. That's Will's vista at the moment. That's beautiful, Will. Thank you very much for that. That's coming up on your screen in just a moment. And James, what we got here? Oh, thank you very much for your playlist. You can make it No, maybe you don't want to make it collaborative. Is that on Spotify or is that some other system there? But sharing of playlists is really rather nice thing to do, isn't it? And we have got a collaborative one for the people who like a bit of jazz funk, courtesy of Capricorn 12 and my interest in that music as well, that genre. Okay, so thank you for that, James. Thank you for that, Will. And I'm going to just explain what some of the photos were that were sent in. Victoria was early in with that video there, and as well as what it says here, more interesting than today's cloudless sunrise was a cruise ship coming into Portimao Marina. I suppose I'll have to postpone my shopping expedition. Yes, and we've talked a little bit about that. I wonder presumably the local traders love to see a ship coming in like that and are thinking, yes, all that extra business today. So there you go, coming into Portimao Marina. And you sent me this delightful still as well. There is the sunrise this morning. Or sun's quite high up in the sky already. What was that? It's about sort of 8 o'clock this morning, possibly in Praia de Rocha this morning. Yes, full. There you go. I'm thinking it's the sun. That's what confused me. It's the full moon just before the sunrise. There, isn't that amazing? Full moon just before the sunrise. And let's go to another full moon pic. Carlos in North Dakota. A beautiful picture and a bit of Halloween action, I think, on the front lawn there. So thank you, Carlos, very much for that in North Dakota. And the scene, one of the other scenes, Halloween scenes that you'll have seen on whilst we were playing Warren's tune there. Beautiful Halloween scene from Deagle. Thank you for all the lovely pictures you sent me. You say it's quite a big thing over there in Belfast. It certainly is in your house, Deagle. And for me, when I think of Halloween, I think of trick-or-treating and I think of going into supermarkets and all that cheap, horrible stuff there, orange stuff. orange sugary stuff, orange plastic stuff. And I think, oh, my kids are going to be bugging me again soon. And then when I see how you do it in your household, your honoring of the Halloween, All Hallows Eve, this time of the year, this autumnal time, how you've done it in your house is so beautiful and inspires me to go into the roots of it, the essence of it, and make it an educational experience for the kids rather than just a sugar high and a little bit of up and down emotional excitement. So thank you, Deagle, for that inspiration there. What else? Who else did we show you? Oh, yes, of course, we had Galileo and his very famous quote used by Queen later on, several centuries later. That's Francis preparing. How's it looking up in the sky where you are, Francis, at the moment? And from Anna. Anna Olsen sent a couple of pictures in. Let me just tell you what she had to say to us this morning as well. Bon dia alegria from Anna in Alyao. The view this morning. What a way to start the day and to be in the right country again. She feels like she's in the right country. That's always reassuring. That's feel good. Okay. Share the one you want. Thing is with that, Anna, when you send me two great pictures, I have to share them both. And here's the other one. There, and you saw that earlier on. Beautiful. Olyao, everybody. Down there in the Algarve. Thank you so much for your pickies this morning. And let's finish off then today with a few more of your comments, which I make it sound like this might only take a couple of minutes. I fear that we might still be here at 11 o'clock. Let's have a look. Let's have a look this morning. I can't be here at 11 o'clock, actually. I have a call. I've got a lovely call to make with somebody who wants to find out more about Portugal. Facebag? What? Oh, Facebook. Okay, so I'm scrolling way back. People shouting still, man cave style, smoker, Will, lol, love you guys. Okay, yeah, all right, that's good. That's good. So the honey label will be a clue for you, Gary. That's good, and we can come down further. Gumpers, we're being called now. Great tag for us. Thank you, Gary Austin there. So we're the Gumpers, are we? From here on in. That's interesting. I missed that earlier on. The phone app. No, that's an at. I don't need to read that one. The smoker. Here we go. We're solving this mystery. The smoker is for video work, and a gathering of Austins is called unpredictable. An unpredictable of Austins. Oh, which reminds me, I must show Terence's fabulous picture as well. Where is that? Scroll back, scroll back, scroll back. There we go. You know it makes sense, Rodney. That's the last thing he said to me on Messenger. So the Rainbow fans, as well as the Only Fools and Horses fans, will like that. Let me just address the unpredictability here this morning. Then just quickly post this up on the screen because this is very lovely. We've got Will's view, and we've got a view of San Martino de Porto Bay, looking over towards Salero de Porto. And beautifully depicted. Is that how you would describe your work, Terence? Terence Austin Artist. Look, terenceaustinartist.com, and a beautiful view across the bay, San Martino, Porto de Bay, with the boardwalk there, somebody out walking their dog, and lovely, lovely view. Thank you very much for that, Terence. And while we're here on the picture deck, there's Will's misty view in central Portugal. I can smell that. I can smell that atmosphere. Love that part of Portugal, folks. It's different. It's very different. The heart of Portugal up there. What does that make the Algarve? The bottom of Portugal. Only kidding. All right. I have a feel-good moment from the week. Got an appointment to see the Portuguese consulate to renew my citizen card on 11/11. Oh, power numbers. So I'm excited to get all that rolling for our visit next year. Fantastic. Well done, Francis. Good on you. Slow bureaucracy is a small price to pay. Sorry, Itchy Hooter. Slow bureaucracy is a small price to pay for a life in Portugal. There you go. And Coco Chanel said, I don't care what you think about me. I don't think about you, you at all. That's bold. That's very bold, isn't it? Wouldn't more of us like to be like that? I think to craft. And do you often wonder when people say, I don't care what people think about me? Do you believe them? Because I often don't. It's in our human nature, isn't it, to be concerned about how others view us. And in many ways, that's a good check and balance. But sometimes we take it too far. To craft our moods, ask yourself questions like, what am I looking forward to, says Jim White. What am I excited about? Where is love in my life? That will change your day. Those three questions alone will change your day. Thank you, Jim. Thank you very much. Jim knows about these things. Yes, spotlight effect has been researched, but then what hasn't been in psychology? Yes, and then in psychiatry, of course, they'll research it and they'll create a treatment for it, won't they, thereafter? At Thunder, I don't need that one. Maxine, wherever you go, bring 2 copies of all your paperwork. Often they'll keep the original. of many of the papers, and you're left without any reference. No! Reading the comments is awesome, Carl. Seems to me it makes the community more welcoming somehow. I mean, it meant a lot to me when I started tuning in 2 years ago. Do not worry, Hank. I am not ever going to stop reading comments. It is the lifeblood of the show. It's just the sheer volume I'm dealing with. So it really helps me when people put at, which I will assume means you're talking to somebody else, and I needn't read that out publicly. If you do at Carl, it might mean I definitely need to read it out. So I'm just picking and choosing now because of the sheer volume, and so that some of us can go do other things by midday. midday. I love driving in Portugal. I call it God's racetrack, says Andy. That's brilliant. I was always at the back. Yes, I can believe that, Louise. God's racetrack. That is funny. Louise, see me after class. What's so funny back there? Yes, if it's so funny, share it with everyone. Carl, that's called napping. What do you mean by moments of mindfulness? Actually guilty. So, yes, yesterday's meditation recording. It was only meant to be 10 minutes. It's actually 22 minutes of it. I think probably a good 8 of those I was fast asleep. But I share it anyway because I think it's good therapy. 5 minutes a day to sit quiet and think of nothing. Pretend you're in the Caribbean. Lol. What's wrong with that? Nothing wrong with that at all. And even just let any thoughts go right if you possibly can. And that's easier said than done, of course, isn't it? Face bag. Carl, no problem with YouTube. Oh, that's good to know. Just canvassing a bit of opinion there. Carl, no, that's not for me. Khadija, okay, I will switch to YouTube because you're right. Facebook is evil. I didn't say that. And there aren't many of us here. Thank you for your support on that. Go for what's best for you. Thank you, Gemini. I appreciate that. And hopefully you can make that transition. I never stream on Facebook. YouTube works great for me. What do you stream there, James? Thank you. Facebook is hot garbage, man. The interface is clunky and the content, please watch what you post. Okay, so I've taken the app off my phone. I find I'm not on there enough. Not on there as much as I used to be. It's going well. So I think I need to speak to colleagues about this, but the people say, you can do it. Yeah, YouTube. I absolutely support you getting off Facebook. It's a horrible company, says Natalie. Great. Okay. Streaming on FB is terrible. If you look at another app, it stops streaming. YouTube is far superior. Okay, lots of love for this idea. Please, yes, positively get rid of it. Kick it into touch. Yes, ditch Facebook. What you're saying exactly why I don't use Facebook. Yes, they're using me, aren't they? And taking the food out of my children's mouths. Great. At Expats Portugal, this one's for me. Carl, you have my support to dump FB and go all in on YouTube, thinking about leaving Facebook too. Amazing, right? I mean, the driving is fast, but generally good. The Italians, though, crazy mad. Okay, that wasn't for me, but I read it anyway. No way. Thanks, everyone. Yes, way. Coming on here just to take the mickey out of me, Barnet. And we've been working hard for you, Michael. That's thanks, everyone. And Victoria for the breakfast recommendations. That's what friends are for, she says. And Andy's going to make you one when you're in Lisbon. How about that? So where do you buy these roasted chestnuts? I've never had them. Not a big thing in California. You can buy them in their raw, naked state, Natalie, in the supermarket at the moment, or your fruiterer. People don't use that word much. Did I make that up, or was that a word in usage in the 70s in England? A fruiterer. But yeah, go to the market, go to a Portuguese market, and don't go to the supermarket. Why did I say that? Go to the market and get yourself some castanheira, and then you can get the accoutrement, the paraphernalia, the roasting thing you can use yourself. Prick them first, or they explode, as Will probably found out in his mate's microwave. Or on the streets often. Coimbra, notably, go into the lanes of Coimbra and you will smell the whiff, the waft of roasted chestnuts there. So let us know how you get on, Natalie, with those. If you want to drive, if you want to experience crazy and harrowing driving, take a cab in Bangkok. Yes, I fell out with a tuk-tuk driver in Bangkok. He was taking me everywhere. And I said, you take it. And he just told me to get out. And I'm bloody miles from anywhere. From a bicycle, the drivers are here, compare quite favorably with those in America, says Sarah. Good morning, Sarah. Think of all the Yermanistas will be breathing longer due to the move here. Yes, indeed. That's a nice feel-good formula as well. No problem. Following the show on YouTube. Fantastic. And I'm liking this. I don't have to read the at things unless they're at Carl or at Expats Portugal. That's very good. Speaking of haircuts, losing my dreadlocks rapidly. Okay, what happens? Do they get caught up in hedges and stuff like that, Owen, or fall out over time? But I'm well prepared. I bought a pork pie hat many years ago just for this purpose. See, well prepared. Yes, a Boy Scout among the dreadlocks. See, well prepared. I was never in the Scouts. Okay, I have always been a brownie. Now that's funny. Okay, Carl. I can read that one out, can't I, from Andy? And you see, as soon as I've said I don't want to read out the comments you're saying to each other, I immediately become nosy. And I want to say, when I see something about what I thought said small farts in there, and I'm thinking, why is Antonio saying that to Natalie? And it actually says small carts. Which quickly, as it glances across the screen, an easy mistake to make. In this season, you'll find them in small carts in the streets, roasted in the moment, as we all are from time to time, folks. Is that original music? You might get copyrighted. No, no problem there. Warren writes these songs specifically for us, Hank. Isn't that amazing? There are 3 of them, and I will give you the link to them. Loving that tune. There, love. Yes, very good. But I thought it would be more a reggae beat. Oh, Jimmy Webb, not who's have I got my Webbs or my Jimmys mixed up? I'm gonna have to look into that. I see what you mean. I see what you did there with that. I love this documentation. I'll get back to you on that, Eusebio. Documentation needs a remix, perhaps a funk version. Don't worry about that. I think all the different genres are coming from Warren. He's a very clever geezer. Thanks again, Victoria and Andrew. So kind. He's quite touched by that. You touched him this morning, Andy. Great spot to watch the sun come up there, talking about the pictures. Maybe it's why I'm drinking, but Carl's hairline gives me images of Nick Cage in my mind. So I just do some Nick Cage looks. The many faces of Nick Cage. My hairline, are you talking about my Brillo pad? It definitely needs a trim. And thanks for everyone for bringing it to my attention. But then if I will put my bonce and boat race in front of you every morning, what do I expect? You could just speed it up, says Eusebio. Speed up the YouTube version. Yes, you remix it for yourself there. But don't mess about with Warren's work, everybody. Where is this ship coming in? That ship is coming into Portimao Marina. And she was shocked when she saw that, when that boat comes in. That ship is not sailing in the River Tagus. Why is that? Is it too big for the Tagus? Or your point of order? Yeah, Portimao. I was just making a comment there, Antonio, that when they come into the Tagus, when they're in Lisbon, I'm thinking, how do they get that massive thing in here next to Santa Apollonia? Is it Santa Apollonia Station? I don't have to read that one. You can. By the way, I want writing credit on the song. Must get my. Was it your idea with the collation and the constipation there, Eusebio? I wonder. Okay, so a big bitter battle ensues in the courts now. I think I can handle Portuguese roads. I ride motorcycles in California. So to quote that famous ranger, I do not fear death. Deborah's here, everybody. Did my first. Oh yes, how did it go? My first Portuguese language class yesterday. Walked out onto the street after class and burst into tears. Oh no! Felt totally overwhelmed. I think they covered too much ground. Oh, bless you, Deborah. Get back in the saddle next week or today. Is it an intensive? Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, but I'm sure everyone is thinking here, lots of love to you. Come on, it's not so bad. Please, regroup, regird, and do get back in there. Don't let it get to you. It'll be fine. So it will. No, don't need to read that one. That was the full moon. Okay, yes, my mistake. And little flick of the mouse, and it exposes another 500 comments on the screen. Okay, let's go. At Portugal used to have the most road deaths per capita in Europe, which has really reduced that number by enforcing driver training, which is why it's difficult to get a license now. There you go. So they've ruined it for the rest of us, it would appear. Gosh, darn pictures, man, making me homesick again. Was that we had the song? I quite like that. I quite like making up my own mashup image video behind the songs there. I think I'll have to do that again. Warning to everyone near a branch, the 19th National Sweets Fair. I'm so sorry. I think I missed this yesterday, didn't I? Thank you for reasserting yourself, Antonio. The 19th Feria Nacional do Doçaria is open between today and Sunday in Abrantes. Abrantes, a great place to go. Go visit that town. Go to the 19th National Sweets Fair today. And remember to drink lots of water, whatever you do, if you're eating lots of sugar. Prepare for diabetes. I don't know. Kate's here. You've been quiet, Kate, after just coming on and having a go at Paul the other day. There's a and this is not for me, but I'm reading it because I felt the need to. There's a vintage motorcycle shop in Cavalhal Banfeito. It's the only shop. So you can't miss it for Hank. GTG, bon fin de semana. What does that mean? Another one I don't understand. GTG. Those paintings of Terence's are going quicker than flies in a jailhouse. Brilliant. Italy? No, I was in Portugal. Talking about driving again there. Definitely dump the EFF book. What does that mean? Don't say. Frutarias. Okay, so frutaria says Margarida here in Portugal. And what did I say earlier? I can't even remember now. Only minutes ago. A fruiteria? No, a fruitera. A fruiterer. That's what I'm sure it's something my dad used to say. So at this is good. Carl getting fruitier by the day. They do say that. It has been said. We all hate it for different reasons. For about Facebook. Keep it feel good, folks. There's a roasted chestnut vendor right in the central area of Ericeira. It's smelling for miles off. 54,000 kilometers of off-road trail all around Europe. Somebody's looking forward to that. Carl, truth be told, Minister for Home Affairs does the Halloween decorations. Okay, fair enough. But it's beautiful. Do send the minister my best regards and admiration for her fabulous work there. Really beautiful, Deagle. Facebook. If you're not paying, you are the product. So true. And now that's capitalism for you, isn't it? Now, I mean, surely can't they just print some money like governments do and give it to us? Hey, Kate, on the economics, right? Did I hear right that America has printed 40% of all the currency it's ever printed? 40% of it in the last year. Is that about right? But it doesn't matter, does it? If you're not paying, you are the product. Now they are creating the metaverse, hoping people will live their entire lives there. Shades of the Matrix. Come on, keep it light, people. When I'm in PT, I will make videos of me and Simba riding the Portuguese Tet on my electric motorcycle. I don't know what a Tet is, but I'm guessing it's some sort of off-road experience. So he's made the change already. That's the way we roll. Thank you very much, Owen. I'm still giggling a little bit about your earlier comment. Like techno, infinite covers, documentation. Yes, it just could go on and on, couldn't it? It really could. And why not? Yes, Carl, the big cruises ship stop in the dock by Santa Apollonia train station. It's quite remarkable. And you do get to see, of course, why they are the biggest polluters too. What black smoke billowing out as it gets up to speed there. Quite incredible. Barbara's here, everybody. Nice little smile there. Like Sillet Bang, hardcore techno remix. See YouTube. Yeah, that is pretty good, that, isn't it? That's an oldie but goodie. That's about 10 years old now, Andrew, maybe longer. Got a meeting in 4 minutes. Yes. Well, I've got to go in a minute. We'll have to catch the end later. Careful. Thanks for a great show. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Thank you. Yeah, bon fin de semana. Got to go. Yes, indeed. We all have to, don't we? And I got to read this one. It's because it's from James to Deborah. I wanted to quit every day for the first month. Several months later, really enjoying it. Hang on in there. You can do it, and we will support you right here. Never did Facebook in my life. Love the YouTube. I feel a bit bad because I've encouraged Coach Turner to go onto Facebook. I will still use it. I'm not going to quit. I've got a lot to thank Facebook for, including me and my missus. So, you know, let's not be too... I do get it. I do get how dark it is, but it's also brought a hell of a lot of light to the world. It has to be said. Nothing happening here weather-wise yet, just the clouds. And Kate, can't listen. Most mornings now. We're getting close to COP26. Oh, come on. Don't let that stop you. I'm having a CPD day. Bye. Okay. That's not sort of pulmonary disorder, is it? Chronic pulmonary disorder. That's probably a continuous professional development. It could be easy. It could be either of those, couldn't it? Thank you so much. On that CPD moment, may I wish you all a continuous personal development day. Okay, that's how we rolled this morning. We've been looking at, have we not, the a few good feel-good formulas. Don't forget to put them into action. Do it for yourself. Do it for the youngsters who you know, I think it's fair to say some of us are struggling at the moment. Let's show them a good example of how much we can enjoy our lives as they look up to us. They do, honestly. Whether they would admit to it or not, they're looking at us thinking, what's this all about then? What's it like to be older? What's it like to be old? what's it like to be on this planet in a few years' time? We've got to set them a good example. And I think we need to take responsibility for our happiness and health and well-being. So I do wish you a continuous personal development day. Have a great Friday, everyone, from Andy. Here they come. Here come the lovely greetings, which I'll play over the outro. Remember, I did get a YouTube ban. Oh, my goodness, Gary. Yeah, that's worth remembering, isn't it? Carl, most money is not printed. It never gets physical. Okay, I meant it metaphorically, Kate. But all right, let's say America has created 40% of its money in the last. I think printing is meant sort of metaphorically there, but in the last year, isn't that shouldn't? No, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to give you a reason to worry. But I just thought it was very interesting, and I thought you might know the answer to that. Let's go. It was Gumpers, not Gimpers. What a terrible, terrible note to end on. But I'm going to anyway, folks. Watch out for the big yellow slug at the end, because we've been enjoying that too. Did I miss something important? The book club, the business club, the crypto club next week. I missed them all. Explaining about CEF, explaining about the Expats Portugal plan. They're just going to have to wait until next week. See you then. Bye for now. Bon fin de semana. Ciao, ciao.